Hi guys, welcome to another Pixel Gamer video, and today I'm going to talk about PlayStation. They've just announced that they've sold over 50 million units of the PlayStation 4 worldwide. Now, for those of you that are wondering, that means it's sold PS4 Standard, PS4 Slim, and PS4 Pro, and the total amount is 50 million. So, is that good or bad? So, I want to give you my take on this and where I think it stands. I don't think it's as good as Sony want you to think it is. And I've got a whole host of theories as to why. So, let me give you some of my theories. So, I don't think it was too far away from E3. So, we're talking 6 months. And I think the figure is around about 45 million. So, within 2.5 years, they have sold 45 million units. That's a heck of a lot in a 6-month window if you want to break it down, that they were doing at the time from launch. Now, fast forward to where we are today, they've only increased that by 5 million units. What's interesting about that is that that's over a period of time where there's been massive hardware. Sony's focus this year has been hardware. They can't deny it. They launched the PSVR, granted that's not a PS4 console, but you need one to play it, and you probably need a PS4 Pro. So they should have seen a big uplift on Pro based on VR, I would have suspected, and that was part of the launch criteria. Launch VR, then launch Pro, gives Pro a nice boost. However, I don't think it's panned out quite as Sony wanted to. They've been very coy about VR numbers, which tells you that it probably hasn't done as well as they really wanted it to, because the market's in its infancy. And fair play to Sony, big risk. They were never ever going to kill it for that. But I think seeing why Pro was really released was for VR. And when you look at actually the fact that they've not told us individually what the PS4 Pro numbers are, that tells you quite clearly, obviously. History tells us that that's not a good thing. It doesn't mean they're bad, it just means they're not amazing or anything to crow about. So that's where I think we are. So I don't think the 5 million is a big jump. So 50 million units, and we're complaining about it almost, it sounds like, but it's not. It's obviously very impressive. The PS2 did 155 million units to put in comparison, and it obviously sold over a period of 10 years, and we're only about a third of that way through for the PS4. So in theory, it's on track to smash the 150 million barrier. Will it get there? I really don't think so. I think the Scorpio is really going to kill it in its tracks, and my opinion on the Pro, and I have a Pro, and the gameplay you see on the screen is actually Mafia 3 captured on the PS4 Pro, which runs amazing, by the way, compared to what it did in the PS4 base model. But you look at what the benefit is for PS4 Pro, and it really wasn't there, and it probably confused consumers, and now you've got this status where they've actually killed the PS4 base model. They killed the fastest selling PlayStation since PS2 in its tracks, and it was their own call. They didn't need to do it. It's absolutely mad. Then the PS4 Pro, just to back up some of the thinking behind that, it's good. It's not amazing. I really like my Pro, and I have a 4K TV. I've got HDR. I can see the benefits in it. It's really great. I've also got an Xbox One S, and it's upscaling some stuff to 4K and HDR as well. So, am I seeing a massive difference in the games? Not really. Mafia 3 is the one that I would definitely shout out about. It was honkingly bad when it came out. What a word, honking. But it really does run a lot better. They have patched it, granted. I haven't played it on the base model because I've not had the need to go back to that. But it is running a lot better. Take a game like FIFA 17 for example, and it runs much the same on both. Pro, yeah, very increased frame rate. Don't think so. Increased resolution, yeah, absolutely. You can definitely see a difference with the 4K on FIFA 17, but is it adding to my gameplay experience? Nah, don't think so. And I think for main consumers, they won't be bought in by the Pro, and I think the Pro is possibly going to damage Sony's ability to really rank up those sales numbers. If you want to look at the other theory I have, you just need to look at PSX, and I'm hoping to get a video up about PSX shortly, PSX 2016, which just happened last weekend, which I thought was a really strong conference, but I think it's stronger than what they probably initially planned. And my theory around this is the fact that they opened and they closed with Naughty Dog. Now, I think they were always going to show the Uncharted 4 DLC story stuff, which looks really good. But the showing of The Last of Us Part 2, I think, tells a different story than what they would like you to believe. So I think by the fact that they've showed that tells us that they're a bit worried by the momentum that Xbox have built up. And actually today as I record this, the November NPDs are expected to go out. So it looks very much like PlayStation is probably done alright during Black Friday. In fact, it sold as many at launch as it did at any other time. But it looks like they're really trying to fight the momentum that Xbox clearly have behind their side. They've won every NPD in America since July, which tells you something, and it tells you that consumers aren't really that fussed about having a high-spec machine in their home. Mind you, those die-hard Xbox fans will tell you something different when Scorpio arrives. Let me damn well and show you, and I'll be one of them. Absolutely. So you look at the launch lineup as well, and it hasn't been that great for Sony. So I think they're struggling. They need to deliver on IP, and they're realizing that now, that they need to deliver on software. Now their software is getting better. They seem to be learning from the initial couple of years where the hardware needs some decent stuff to run on it, and they could really showcase it. So we're seeing God of War, we're seeing Days Gone, we've seen The Last of Us Part 2, and I think the fact that they've shown that so early in development tells you that they needed something to try and halt Microsoft's momentum with the Xbox. And that's my theory, and I think you're going to see a slowdown in numbers. It's the first conference where a milestone hasn't been announced in terms of sales. They've done it every E3, etc. They've not done it here. I think that probably needs to tell you how they're feeling at the moment. But 2017 could be a completely different ball game. It looks like it's very much Microsoft to win at the end of the year with Scorpio. But PlayStation have got this advantage now with the Pro. How do they leverage it without alienating their consumer on the base model? It's really tough, but we'll wait and see, because actually that's going to set the benchmark for Microsoft to learn from, hopefully, some Sony mistakes or stuff they've done good. So that's my feelings, guys. 50 million units sold through. Is it doing better? I think it's doing okay. I don't think it's doing better at the moment in the market, but that's us. Chat to you soon.